Hi there, so this week's column is about mattifying, so kind of making very, very shiny, greasy looking skin look smooth and matte. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm going to tell you now that I don't really want to recommend loads of products to you because testing is still going on for the column. So to be completely honest with you, things are still out with testers. I still don't have the results. I'm not someone who suffers from greasy skin. My skin is really dry. So I felt it was wrong for me to test things myself. So I've given them to a variety of women and a couple of men to test them out to see if they work. And I don't have the results in, so I'm just going to give you a few tips on what you can do that I know work, but for specific product recommendations, other than the ones I specifically recommend here, then please refer to the column. So, mattifying products. People who suffer from very, very shiny skin generally have too much oil in their skin, or they have an imbalance of oil. This can be a good thing in that as they get older, they're less likely to get wrinkles. So somebody with very oily skin will probably age better than someone like me, for example, because I have less oil to smooth things out. So it's not a bad thing. However, I know it drives people absolutely mad that when they put their makeup on, it suddenly looks very greasy within half an hour and it starts to move and so on. And there are certain things you can do to combat this. Lots of people assume that very shiny, oily skin is exclusively young skin, and that really is not the case. I have met lots of women who have real problem with grease and oil, and they're well into their 50s. And like I say, much as that has its benefits, I can appreciate it's very annoying. Also, lots of women, when they're going through the menopause, can often end up with sort of teenage skin again, which can be very frustrating. So that would apply to them also. This column would apply to them also. So there are a few things you can do to help. The first thing you want to do is cleanse. Now, I'm obsessed with cleansing. It is absolutely the cornerstone of good skincare routine. It's, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do for your skin. Always, always cleanse properly. When it comes to oily skin, I think cleansing is fraught with danger because so many products on the market for oily skin dry out your skin too much and are really harsh and astringent on the skin. And what happens then is if you strip away all the oil too vigorously with your cleansing, your skin overcompensates and produces yet more oil because it doesn't have as much oil as it's used to, and you end up with even greasier skin. And apart from anything, if you over cleanse your skin with a very astringent cleanser, then you end up in a situation where your skin is more vulnerable to sun damage and things like that. So you want to really gently cleanse, the same as somebody with dry skin would. There are loads and loads of cleansers for oily skin, but by and large, I recommend using a cleanser that's just suitable for any skin type, that's just very pure, doesn't have many aggravating chemicals and ingredients in and so on. You want something very straightforward. Liz Oil Cleanser Polish is my favourite. And I certainly know lots of people who really get on with it, with their oily skin. Some don't, it's not right for everybody, but I have certainly found it very beneficial in lots of cases. But you can also try a sort of very pure cleansing water. Shiseido do one, but there are lots of them. It's sort of very transparent, gentle, non-alcoholic, make sure there's no alcohol in it, to just sweep away makeup. Please don't use wipes, you're just spreading bacteria around your face, you're not cleaning it properly, in my opinion. You just want a nice thin milk, so not greasy. Massage it into your face and remove with a hot cloth is my preferred technique. It gets rid of all the gunk, all the dirt and bacteria and so on, but just and takes away the dead skin cells, but just doesn't aggravate the skin. Is a very gentle way of cleansing. You can also use cleansing oils. Please don't be put off by oils. Cleansing oils can be great on oily skin. It doesn't follow that using oils on your face makes you have greasy skin. It doesn't follow at all. Just make sure you get the right one for your skin type. So after cleansing, I recommend a serum. At this point, it's quite a good idea to get a mattifying serum, so one that's specifically designed for that skin type. Aromatherapy Associates have done one, mattifying skin serum. Lots and lots and lots of natural ingredients in there, nothing nasty, nothing aggravating. Because oily skin can be really sensitive, people assume it's very hardy, but often it's not. Go to a serum, and you can also get a serum with with a property in it to address any of your other concerns, because it's perfectly feasible that you might have oily skin but you might have hyperpigmentation. That's totally fine. The joy of serums is that they're almost always oil-free, so you won't have anything to clog up your pores and so on. So you're pretty safe with serums on the whole. Where you really need to start thinking about your skin type is with your moisturiser. With a moisturiser, you definitely want an oil-free moisturiser. You don't want anything that's going to clog up the pores. You don't want something to make your makeup even more slippery and more likely to move. So you want a mattifying oil-free moisturiser. I've only put a couple here because they're ones I'm prepared to recommend because I know about them. But as I say, there are many being tested currently. So this one is lovely by Caudalie. Again, very gentle, very natural product. Moisturising mattifying fluid, so you would just use it as a day cream over your serum, because moisturising is still really important. Don't make the mistake of not moisturising because you think it's going to make your skin greasy. It's incredibly light, smells delicious, incredibly light, gives a lovely base for makeup as well, a really nice sort of velvety base for makeup. And I've just rubbed it into my hand and it's just vanished because my skin's so dry. It's just completely vanished because it's such a fine fluid. It's just gone. Lovely, lovely base. I love this range. It's by Dove Spa. I feel like nobody knows about this range, but Dove of creamy soap bar, whatever they call it, cleansing bar range, have this really great range called Spa, which is a little bit more expensive. And they've done this mattifying gel cream, which is a lovely product. The whole range is very good actually, Dove Spa, I'm a big fan of it. Shiseido do a lovely range as well for oily skin, for mattifying. Anything like that, something very light, something very oil-free, and something that just disappears into your skin and has a bit of grip to it. Like I've just rubbed in that Caudalie one, and it doesn't feel slippy, it's got a bit of a grip to it. It's not a tackiness, but you can't easily rub your fingers across it. A bit like a rubber band, I suppose. It's that kind of feeling. You want that. So move on to your makeup, then you want to use an oil-free foundation, and I've mentioned some in the previous foundation column, and you should be able to find one there. Then what is really important with oily skin is what you do afterwards. I mean, of course you can use a mattifying primer and that works really, really well. But afterwards is when you can really start to take control of it throughout the day without washing your face and starting again. The most obvious way of doing this is with powder. So face powder. You just want a mattifying pressed powder. This one by Autograph from Marks & Spencer is very, very good. You want a fine finish, because I've often found that with oily skin, when it's powdered, if the powder particles are too big, they sort of settle into cakey patches and it's not even. It would be fine on drier skin, but with oily skin, it tends to get a bit congealed. So you want one that's very, very, very fine. So when you do that with your finger, it sort of disappears. Very, very finely cut particles. This fits the bill well. Loose powder as well is totally fine. Loose powder tends to be finer on the whole. This one by Laura Mercier is really good. Smooth Focus Press Setting Powder, Shine Control. And I have found that it doesn't cake, it doesn't migrate, and it keeps things really matte for a long time. Like it or not, if you're someone with very oily skin, you are going to have to touch up your powder probably once during the day if it's a good one, more if it's not such a good one. If you don't want to go the powder route, and I know lots of young women don't like the idea of powder, I love it, but I understand the resistance. This is a brilliant product that I've used on loads of women. It's Laura Mercier Secret Finish, and it comes in a couple of different formulations. The normal one's great for kind of normal and dry skins. This one's the mattifying one. And what it does, it's really smart. It's completely invisible and colourless. When you've got all your makeup on, see, it comes out like a gel. The other one doesn't, the other one's a cream. It comes out like a gel, and you need a tiny amount in. It's a silicone, basically. And you take it with your ring finger, and when you've got your makeup on and you just need to touch up and you don't want to add yet more powder, yet more makeup, you just pat it on the skin with your ring finger, and the shine just disappears, but without adding gunk onto your face. It's a brilliant product, and you need such a small amount that will last you a really long time. There are similar things on the market. There's a Shiseido stick that does the same thing, that's kind of maybe a bit more handy, but I really, really do love the Laura Mercier one, and it just gives you a great opportunity to touch up without caking it on. And also because it's invisible, you can touch up as many times as you like and it just comes off with your cleanser. You also may find that a facial spritz helps just during the day. If you spritz a kind of watery spritz on, it keeps your skin moisturised without adding yet more oil, kind of keeps your skin hydrated, because it's perfectly possible to have very dehydrated skin that's also very oily, because dehydrated skin lacks water, dry skin lacks oil. So they're very, very different things, as I've said before. You can easily be dehydrated and oily. If you're somebody who's suffered from spots and acne, please refer to the column I wrote on spots and acne, and also consult your doctor. Quite often it's something that can be sorted out with medication. Finally, I wanted to mention these because they're so unfashionable. People hate them, but I just think they're genius. One of my regular readers, actually, Katie Lindemann, her name is, has very shiny skin, and she swears by these, not this particular brand, but she swears by oil control blotting papers. Now, these are not the same as those powder papers that you can get, those sort of sheets of paper impregnated with powder. I personally think they're completely useless. They just look completely unnatural, like you've puffed flour on your face. These are different. It's just like blotting paper for the skin. There are cheap ones, there are expensive ones. These are by Shiseido. They come in a really nice wallet. They look a bit like a Rizzler, and you just press the paper on your skin during the day, and again, you're not adding any rubbish, but it's absorbing the oil and taking away any shine, and those are really helpful. And they couldn't be simpler to put in your handbag either. Just couldn't be simpler, just little pieces of paper. And they last for ages because you tend to get loads, and they're really hygienic too, because you can just bung them in the bin after you've finished and you're not spreading bacteria with applicators and so on. I really recommend those. They're deeply unfashionable, but I think they work brilliantly. So thanks, Katie, for that tip. And that's about it. As I say, I don't really want to recommend specific products yet because I'm waiting for results, but I will be on comments to help you with any questions you might have if you have problems with oily skin. And also do check out the foundation video, the most recent one, because there are a number of oil-free foundations there. It's also really important, by the way, I should just say, to get an oil-free foundation, because some foundations that contain oil can really change colour when they're on oily skin. So you want an oil-free one that's not going to do that, because it's important that your colour stays true and you don't end up, you know, looking like Peter Andre or something. Okay, so I'll see you on comments. Hopefully that's of help to you, but I look forward to helping you more there. Thanks very much. Bye.